Hi everyone, my name is Andy and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to set up a REST API with Loopback. What we're going to do is build a campground reservation API, and in our data model we're going to have campgrounds which will have reservations, can have multiple reservations, and a reservation will belong to a customer, and a customer himself can have multiple reservations of its own. Now we're going to use Loopback for this, so you can go to loopback.io and you can install the Loopback CLI tool. Now the CLI tool is not required, but it really helps to set up your application very quickly. Now when you have installed the Loopback CLI tool, you have the lb command available. And when you start it, then the Yaman generator will be started, and you can give the name of the application. We're going to use the reservations as our name. We're going to use this directory, and we're going to use the latest version of Loopback. And we're going to start with an empty server. Now our files are already created and our node modules are still installing. Now when we look at the structure, we see that there is both a client and a server part available. When we create models, we can also make them common. Then there will be a common directory here, so we can share them between the client and the server. We will focus here mostly on the server part. So if we look at the server part, there is a boot folder here for boot scripts, and we have one boot script available which will start at the root of the application and will show the status of our Loopback application. There are also some other JSON files which you can use for configuration, so components for specific components. The Loopback API Explorer is a specific component which will be available at /explorer, and that's actually a Swagger UI interface. There are also some global settings, so we defined here that our port should be 3000 and that our REST APIs will be available with /API prefixed. We have not configured any data sources, but if we want to do that, we can put them here, and the same for middleware. And if we want to define some models, which you will see later on, we're gonna define them here. There's also a server.js, so behind the scenes Loopback is actually based on Express.js, and we're gonna start an HTTP server in our application. The rest of the files are not really important. When we go to the directory and we press npm start, we will see that our application will be available at port 3000, and our REST API can be browsed by with the API Explorer at /explorer. So let's see what happened here. Okay, so if we go to port 3000, indeed our application is started, and if we go to Explorer, we see our Stronglook API Explorer with the name of our application, and of course there are still no endpoints here because we have to define them in the next part.